The courtroom went silent as the judge pointed straight at the proud tomb guard and said, "Remove your Medal of Honor." Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. What happened next would be remembered forever. His name was Sergeant William Hayes. For 20 years, he stood watch over the tomb of the unknown soldier, guarding it through blizzards, thunderstorms, and scorching summer heat. Every step, every movement was perfect. Because for Hayes, it wasn't just a duty, it was a promise. A promise to those who never came home. Hayes had enlisted at just 18. He served in 2 war zones, earning respect for his bravery under fire. In one battle, he shielded a wounded comrade from enemy fire for almost an hour, refusing to move even when shrapnel tore through his leg. For that act, and many others, he was awarded the nation's highest military honor, the Medal of Honor. To Hayes, it wasn't a decoration. It was a reminder of the brothers and sisters he had lost. Years after his service, Hayes was called as a witness in a high-profile court case involving stolen valor, a man pretending to be a decorated war hero. The courtroom was packed. Cameras were rolling. As Hayes took the stand in full dress uniform, the Medal of Honor gleaming on his chest, the defendant's lawyer leaned toward the judge and whispered something. Moments later, the judge leaned forward, his voice sharp. "Sergeant Hayes, remove your Medal of Honor while you're in my courtroom." The air froze. Gasps rippled through the room. Hayes didn't move. His hand rested gently over the medal, his eyes locked on the judge. In that moment, time seemed to slow. For a man who had stared down enemy fire, this was a different kind of battle, one of honor, dignity, and principle. The judge repeated the command, this time louder. "Sergeant, remove that medal or I will hold you in contempt of court." Whispers filled the gallery. Some shook their heads, others stared, waiting to see what the war hero would do. But Hayes remained silent, until finally, he stepped forward. "Your Honor," Hayes began, his voice steady but firm. "This medal does not belong to me. It belongs to every soldier who never came home. It belongs to the men who bled beside me, and to the families who still wait for answers. If you ask me to remove it, you're asking me to remove them." A heavy silence fell over the room. Even the judge seemed taken aback. The judge's eyes softened. He leaned back in his chair, letting out a long breath. "Then you may keep it, Sergeant." Slowly, the courtroom rose to its feet, not in noise, but in complete, reverent silence. As Hayes left the stand, one reporter asked why he hadn't just removed the medal to avoid trouble. Hayes paused, glanced down at the shining piece of metal, and said quietly, "Because some honors can never be taken away." And with that, the man who had guarded the nation's most sacred ground walked out, head held high, Medal of Honor still pinned proudly to his chest. And as Hayes left the stand, one reporter asked why he hadn't just removed the medal to avoid trouble. Hayes paused, glanced down at the shining piece of metal, and said quietly, "Because some honors can never be taken away." If stories like this remind you of the sacrifice so many have made, then help us keep their memory alive. Tap the like button, share this story, and subscribe so together we can honor every hero whose courage should never be forgotten.